Greetings, everybody. Peace. Give everybody a chance to get on because I know they got a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of inbox messages about this case. I'm trying to look something up for y'all. But anyway. All right, people. Let's talk about this case. There's a lot of people that got something to say about Shayla's Britton case. And most of those are people that assuming they know what happened. I got all the documents on this case. Don't ask me how I got them, but I got them. I got all the videos from the officer's court, dash cams and body cams. And people, we should always want to find out the truth. And my heart goes out to the family and friends of this young man that lost his life, 17-year-old boy. But we must take some time accountability. For our actions and the things we allow our children to do that ultimately could lead to them not ever coming home. Not trying to blame or anything, but 17-year-old did not have any business hanging out in the streets, drinking, hanging with guys, was drinking and all that stuff at all. This goes back to say, you got to know what your children are doing. You got to have accountability. You got to hold yourself accountable for some things that you allow your children to do. The problem is that we try to be our children's best friends. You cannot be a best friend and a best parent. It will never happen. One will overrule the other eventually. I'm trying to learn how to get this thing off my stars off my page. So, but anyway, during the investigation, as I've noticed, first of all, this was done under Carter's administration, John Carter, when he was the former sheriff, John Carter. Deputies did a terrible job on the investigation, on the scene. Matter of fact, they allowed family members and friends of family members to remain on the scene to even lead the investigation. That's what y'all don't know. First of all, family members of the deceased or anybody that was involved should have never been allowed to lead the investigation or be involved in the investigation at all. They should have been immediately removed from the scene. That's that good old boy favoritism stuff. First of all, the crime scene was completely, I'm talking about completely destroyed. Completely compromised by vehicles riding back and forth, officers walking back and forth, people, investigators walking back and forth, walking back and forth. And then after all the walking back and forth, they want to look for shell casings. And one of the videos, it really looks like the officer planted shell casings. Allegedly, that's what it looked like to me. And for those who don't understand and don't realize, an innocent girl And I don't do this much. I don't go all the way out for nothing. An innocent girl is in prison for a crime she, in fact, did not commit. Now, Shayla was an unwilling participant. They just got caught up hanging with the wrong people at the wrong time and the wrong crowd. And she paid the ultimate price. But for she was, in fact, not guilty. And the system just wanted someone guilty. First time, the officers, the thing that should have been on the scene, no matter what or who was on the scene, everybody on the scene, if they did not know who the shooter was, the one that actually pulled the trigger, if they did not know who it was, multiple people were on the scene, and the police officers, the GBI, no one did a gun residue test. Everyone on the scene that I've seen in the video was treated like witnesses instead of accomplishments, instead of a party to the crime. You get my drift? Everyone out there, no matter what, if they was the friend, the cousin, whoever, should have been tested for gun residue. That would have cut back on all the mess, whether those was innocent and those were guilty. The ones that they actually arrested for the scene had left the scene. Allegedly, they are the ones that did the shooting. From witnesses that were on the scene that was actually involved in all this mess. And they never were tested for gun residue. That was lacking on Sheriff Carter's under his administration and his deputies. And some of those deputies are still on the Wayne County Sheriff Department today. And the only reason I don't release these videos is because the young man's body is in these videos. Once I edit them out, cut them videos out, I will release those videos and cut out the people that are in it, because my job is not to prove who's guilty of the crime. But my job right now is to free an innocent young lady that's in prison for a crime that she did not commit. Again, the Sheriff Department under John Carter's administration intentionally, I mean, maybe not intentionally, but they did mess the crime scene up. They contaminated the crime scene. I mean, literally, they started the investigation after all the traffic of the vehicles, traffic of people, back and forth, and they just messed the crime scene up. Then they allow a deputy to lead the case, and I'm gonna bring her behind out at another time. They allowed her to lead the case, and she was kin to him. Others was friends with the family of the deceased and kin to the person. Kin people should have immediately been removed from the scene. You should have immediately been removed from the scene because you compromise, you jeopardize the crime scene. Now, for those who don't know that, your assumptions and your opinions are just that, like everyone. It's like an opinion is just like an asshole. Everyone has at least one. But I'm dealing with facts on the crime scene. I have all the documents. I've read all the documents. And in Whipley, Shayla's attorney really did a job. At first, he was arguing and fussing about his client is innocent. Oh, he's innocent. You have no charges on my client is innocent. My client was innocent. My thing is, what made him change his mind? He came to Shayla with a plea deal. And in this plea deal, he said, Shayla, if you don't take this plea, you will never see the outside again. If you don't take this plea, you'll never see your family again. Young lady scared, don't know what to do. So they dropped the murder charge because they know they couldn't prove murder in the first place. But they locked her up for aggravated assault on a plea deal. This attorney took her from one destination to the next destination and said, hey, do not tell your family members about this plea deal. Because if you tell your family members about this plea deal, it's off the table and you ain't never going to see the outside. Isn't that the bullet to the gun concept? Hey, you better tell us who it was or we're going to blow your brains out. Isn't that a form of force, intimidation, and manipulation to get a conviction from an innocent person? And if y'all want to blame the family, want to blame that these guys later, her co-defendants went to court and was found not guilty, acquitted by the jury. Ain't that something? And I'm going to show y'all something. And if y'all, now hold on. I thought I had it marked, but I guess I didn't. We're almost there. I'll dig it up. But anyway, it's searching for it. So, but anyway, her attorney. Hold on, there you go. Hold on. It is right here. Let me show y'all something. her attorney, Jonathan Pratt Lockwood, when her co-defendants went to court and one got acquitted by the jury of a crime that the jury said they didn't commit. When Shayla was forced, manipulated, threatened to take a plea bargain because she was afraid that she would spend the rest of her life in prison, signed the plea bargain, unknowingly that her co-defendants was getting ready to go to court, where she knowingly knew that their court date was coming up. So Lockwood went to her intentionally and told her, if you do not take this plea bargain, you will never see your family again. You will never see the outside again. And told her, moved her from point A to point B to go sign the plea deal. He took her from Jessup to Brunswick to enter this plea and told her, if you tell your family, then the plea deal is off the table and you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Did this sound like the same man that was preaching the whole time, oh, my client is innocent. My client is innocent. Asking the judge to dismiss the charges. And Judge Roger B. Lane has always been a judge to me that was fair and respectful. But questioning now that he allowed this girl to enter this plea when it should have dawned on his head when this girl, when the other co-defendants went to court, why didn't he say, hey, something ain't right? They all won in a jury trial. If Shayla was here, she would have won too. And then on, his code of ethics, his conscience should have clicked in and said, hey, I'm going to overturn her conviction. He has that power to do that. He has that power to correct any deficit, any wrongdoings, or any corrections that he has made in court. Meaning he can overturn what she signed. But has he done that yet? No. I don't know why. And it's what I keep telling you people. We have to have accountability amongst our public officials. If there is no accountability, there can be no effective change. And will never be an effective change until we hold those in public office to a higher standard. Those who took an oath, sworn oath, to uphold the laws, the rules, and regulations of this court, of their courts, of their jobs, their title, whatever it is. But this man, right here, manipulated Shayla into taking a plea when in fact he knew she was not guilty. And people, all y'all seem to think y'all know what went on the crime scene and that night. You don't. I've read documents. I've got all the videos. So this is why I'm making this video. An innocent woman, without a doubt. Young lady, a mother of a 4-year-old boy, is incarcerated, unlawfully incarcerated. So now we must get her a licensed attorney that is going to fight to bring her home, an attorney that will fight to bring her home. So, with that said, the donation, the GoFundMe, all the GoFundMe and fundraising organizations and companies won't allow a convicted criminal, a convicted person, uh, won't allow you to do a GoFundMe for them. Why? I think that's a violation of someone's equal protection of rights or some. It's got to be some kind of violation because you can't do a GoFundMe with somebody that's trying to fight for injustice and be free. But you can do GoFundMe for churches and all these different organizations and different other things of that nature. But you can't do a GoFundMe to fight for the freedom of an unlawful incarceration of a person because they have been convicted. That is really borderline. Someone should, and probably, I don't have the time, should probably think to consult with a counsel, an attorney, to file charges against, to sue GoFundMe and all the other organizations that don't allow fundraiser organizations. To me, that's not fair. That's a form of prejudice. But again, now, once Shayla's co-defendants, y'all get this, once Shayla co-defendants got acquitted by the jury, was found not guilty by the jury, this man, oh, I lost it. Hold on. Let me get it back. This man right here came to Shayla crying, literally crying, y'all. Oh, he's a good actor. Oh my God, he'd have been good in Hollywood. And said, Shayla, if I knew that that was going to happen, and he crying, I would have never had you sign that plea. Y'all, let me do that again. He came to Shayla with those fake tears. After Shayla's co-defendants were acquitted by the jury, found not guilty. Hey, crying, talking about, oh Shayla, if I knew that was gonna happen, I wouldn't have you sign that plea. BS 101 at top, the greatest illusionist actor in the world. He is top notch. He fits the thing that I say, Lie-awyer. He is definitely a certified Lie-awyer. Because if you really believe what you just said, then the next words that came out of your mouth is, I'm going to withdraw your plea. Now, why didn't he say that? Because he was happy that he got at least one person in jail for that. Again, if in fact his tears and his illusion, his dream, and all that was true, then the last words that came out of his mouth, and should have been the first words, that I'm going to withdraw your plea. Lockwood, Pratt, Jonathan, whatever your name is, why didn't you withdraw her plea? That's the only thing. Why didn't you withdraw her plea? That you manipulated her, lied to her, threatened her, and tried to sign a plea unwillingly because But she did not understand because you threatened her with the bullet to the gun, the bullet to the head, the gun to the head concept. If you don't accept this plea, then you're going to leave this world, basically. And you people, now my heart goes out to the young man's family. I'm going to say it again. I couldn't imagine losing a 17-year-old boy. And my condolences to the family. But again, I speak truth. We have to have accountability for ourselves. You should look back at the raising of your children. You should look at the accountability of yourself when you allow your children to be grown and hang out at 17-year-olds as a grown-ass man and woman and do things that grown-ass women and men do. This could be the results. So let this be a learning lesson to the world. Watch who you hang with. Watch who you around. Watch who the things you do and the people around your children. Be careful because you could be inviting the devil into your children's life and don't even know it. But my thing is, because of the administration under John Carter, because of the deputies that's still on the force, some of them are still on the Wayne County Sheriff Department, because of their inability and because of the kin people and the friendships of the deceased, the crime scene was compromised. They should have never, ever, ever been on the crime scene. Because if in fact those ones that were arrested were guilty, then they fucked it up. But what they didn't do, they treated the guys that was on the scene as witnesses instead of suspects. They should have been all tested for gun residue, and then they would have been either acquitted, they would have been good, or arrested. If in fact they did their job, no matter what they saw on the scene. If you were on the scene when all this happened and you did not know who the trigger was and they were pointing the finger at the other guys, then they should have been gun tested. They should have been, residue tests should have been ran on them to see if anyone fired a weapon. But did they do that? No. That's because they all friends and cousins were on the scene and buddies and of all this. The crime scene was totally corrupted. The scene was compromised. Vehicles and officers walking back and forth, crossing back and forth, and after all that, you go out and test and look at the crime scene to find shotgun shells. And in the video, it really one of the videos looks like the officer pulled them shells out of his pocket. I could be wrong because you can't really be clear on it, but it definitely looks like it. And people, no matter how you feel about Shayla, you should be concerned that there's a possibility that a murder. There is, and not a possibility, there is a murder still on the loose in Wayne County. Because you know, Shayla didn't pull the trigger. She just took the fall. They didn't investigate this crime the way they should have. This is why these guys got acquitted. But Shayla got the bad end of the stick because she had an attorney that said he was looking out for her best interests. But actually he was looking out for the state interests to find somebody guilty. Now, as I said, Superior Court Judge Roger Lane has always been a man that I not looked up to and respected, because he's always been fair. I've never seen him in one case being not unfair. And for him to accept this plea, then go to court and see these guys quit it. It should have dawned on him. His conscience should have kicked in and said, hey, we might have sent an innocent girl to prison. Let me look into this. I'm going to overturn my ruling and bring her home. That's what he should do. That's what he should have done. That's what he should do. He has that power to correct any of his orders. But I'm sure he won't, because no judge wants to be. But like I said, I can have nothing bad to say about him. I think he just made a bad choice in this case. And then let's not forget about this dude, him. Jonathan, Assistant District Attorney Jonathan Ralph Miller, who also played the part in sending an innocent girl to prison because his assumptions of that of an idiot, of an imbecile. Because you don't want to prove a person innocent, you want to prove them guilty so you can have a notch under your belt. You are not about justice. You are about yourselves and making the public think you are doing your jobs. This is crazy. The world is twisted. When our public officials can be willfully and intentionally do whatever they want to, and we will not do anything about it. We just sit there and complain. We'll talk and do this, and none of y'all will ever attack injustice until injustice knock on your doorstep. You don't say a word. Y'all ride up and down the road all day long, and you see the police speeding up and down the road, reckless endangerment, tailgating, following too close. You see state troopers doing it. You see deputy sheriffs doing it. You see regular police doing it. You see all these public officials doing what they want to do, and y'all sit by and you ignore it as the public. You are a bunch of cowards. Because until we hold them accountable at a lower level, we will never have accountability at a higher level. The police does not have a right to speed. State troopers don't have a right to speed, just as you don't. But we ignore all that. Every day we see it. Not one of you pull over. If you see one of your citizens pulled over by the police, not one of you stop and see and observe to keep accountability going, because it doesn't concern you, because you are cowards until injustice hits you at your doorstep. Then you got something to say. If you ain't going to get involved, you ain't going to say nothing, then stay out of our way, the ones that are trying to do something. If you don't like what I say, you don't like what I do, then do the world a favor and stay the fuck off my page. Because I'm about justice, one-on-one, real talk. No filters, no nothing. And this is an innocent girl that's locked up and should not be in jail. And so many are the same way. It's just Shayla's is such an open and shut case. Open. When I read all this stuff, looked at all these documents, watched the police on the scene under Carter's administration, allow all this stuff to go on. The deputy is a close cousin that lead on this crime scene. Cousins and friends, all of them should have been immediately removed from the scene. I'm glad they got John Carter ass up out of there. People, everybody need to write the judge. He is a public official. Like I said, I never had any problems whatsoever with Judge Roger Lane being fair, responsible judge until now. So everybody should, if you want to free Shayla, you need to write the judge a letter. Ask him about the case. He's not inclined to tell you nothing about the case, but who knows? Like I said, he's a reasonable man. He has always been that I know of. I mean, some people, we make bad decisions. But if I was in his foot and I was a judge, after the acquittal of her co-defendants, I would immediately say, hey, I need to look into this here again. I'm gonna remove her a plea, and we're gonna leave. We're gonna withdraw her plea and let her go through the courts. At least that's what I would have did. So we have attorneys, two attorneys that's interested in this case. What they're saying, people, Gofundme won't allow, as I said, Gofundme won't allow convicted people, citizens that have been convicted of a crime, won't allow them to GoFundMe. They won't allow them to do fundraisers, all of them the same. For some reason, I think that's a form of discrimination. But since then, I've created a link for the family that goes directly to the attorney. I created a link that we trying to everybody donate much as you can. $20,000 is our goal. The mother, the grandmother of Shayla, will receive this money, and she can send it directly to the attorney, or either we'll send it to the attorney, and then we will, so nobody won't think it's no foul play going on and all this, or no crazy mess, or no scam or nothing. No, this is about freeing Shayla. So the grandmama, once we reach the goal of $20,000, the grandmama, we would make announcement, a live feed that Shayla has an attorney, and the money has been secured. We need you to hit the link. I got it in here. I need you to donate. I need you to share this. I need you to share. I need you to donate first, and I need you to share. And tell your friends to do the same thing. I need them to tell your friends to donate and share. We need to bring this girl home to her 4-year-old child, an innocent girl that was inadvertently was a party to a crime that she knew nothing of. And I'm going on facts. I'm not going on what people been saying or what I think happened. I read the transcripts, all the paperwork. I read the plea bargain she's in. I looked at all the videos of officers, body cameras and dash cams, all this. Shayla is innocent. And without a doubt, people, there is a murderer, free, whether they live in Wayne County or not, but there is a murderer from this case, free and walking. Instead of the family being mad at those who were acquitted and drawing your anger at the mother, at the grandmama for trying to help her granddaughter, well, why don't you take that energy and try to find out what really happened to your child, the 17-year-old boy that was killed. Take that energy and find out what really happened to him, instead of worry about a grandmama that's trying to free her granddaughter, who was not the trigger man. Justice is the punishment for injustice. Remember that. Shayla, that's not justice. Shayla made a choice to hang with the wrong crowd. I just have to say that. Hanging with the wrong crowd sometimes will backfire on you. And that's what happened to Shayla. She allowed people in her life that should have never been in her life. And that's what's wrong with us now. We allow our children to do whatever they want when they want to. You allow your little girls to go out and have sex. Oh, that's fine. We dress our girls up like grown women, and they dressing like grown women, sharing the very verbiage of their birth canal. You're allowing your 14 and 15-year-old daughters to have boyfriends. Y'all have really lost your minds. My daughter that age? No, shit, none of that. Well, none of that. She did, she snuck. Well, none of that. But y'all willfully, intentionally pimps your children out. Pimping your little girls out to have sex. The children uniforms getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The school system is pimping you for profit and money and pimping your children for sexual exploitation. And y'all don't realize it. This is the problem with us. Our human nature overrules everything in our life. It is your human nature that defines you. And if you're not careful, it will be your human nature that will destroy you. Y'all, share the link, send the thing, hit the link, hit my inbox. If you can't get on the link, donate, and let's bring this innocent girl home. And you can push for the Wayne County Sheriff Department. Open investigation. Open it back up. Be hard to prove now, but people, it's sad on both ends. The family of the 17-year-old boy has lost a son. Never see him again. And he's gone. On the other hand, as a young girl, I think Shayla, it'd be 20-something now, 24, something like that, is in jail for crime she didn't commit. So family on both sides lost someone. On one side, they'll never see that person again. On the other side, they eventually see her again if she make it out of prison. How would you feel to know if you're sitting in jail for a crime you know in fact you didn't do? But because of your ignorance of the law, you allowed, and you was feared and scared, and you was allowed, you took this plea thinking you was going home, and you wasn't. You went to prison. Now, they did drop the murder part of it, in charge of an aggravated assault, but she got 20 years on that. So we need to bring Shayla home, people. Hit that link. And if you think, stop going on your assumption, people, on what happened. And know the facts. I'm not talking about talking to third party over here and third party over here, and Joe Blow and Joe Do, what they say happened. Because really and truly, nobody knows what happened except those that were on the scene. You get me? Nobody. Not even detectives. The police department, sheriff department, I mean. But anyway, people, hit the link, share the link. But first, donate, share the link. Tell your friends to do the same. Let's bring this innocent girl home back to her 4-year-old child. But again, people, Wayne County, without a doubt, there is a murderer running loose in Wayne County. I can't say who he is. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. All I can know is what I've seen on the crime scene and what was happening and what I read. You could say, was it bad law enforcement and bad investigation that led to the acquittal of these people? Could be. Or did the law enforcement did not do their job correctly, even the GBI? And who knows? There's all kind of theories out there. There's all kind of theories that we got out there. There's all kind coming out. But I'm going by facts and what I read on the paperwork and what the police did or did not do. Peace.